Hey everybody, welcome back to Halfshelltoys and Collectibles. For those of you that this is your first time to the channel, my name's Tim, and my wife and I, we go to yard sales, estate sales, private picks, and we pick up items that we can sell online to help support our family. So this is what I do full time. My wife works a full-time job from home, and we have a son that we're raising. So this is what I do so I can help support the family and also be home at the same time. So on this episode, we are going to be looking at some of the things that we sold over the weekend. It was a slower weekend for us, which I kind of anticipated because the week was pretty slow as well. November has been slow compared to October, which is fine. October was super busy, so I'm kind of enjoying the little bit slower days. This week, I've really got to ramp up our listings. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start pulling our orders. And as we do that, I kind of want to touch on something that I've been thinking about for a few months. Hopefully I can get some feedback in the comments about this and maybe make a final decision on it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, let's go ahead and pull our first order. And it's crazy, you know, we're like almost 2 weeks into November, but we sold another Halloween item over the weekend. So something that I've noticed every single year around this time is I will have Halloween sales leading up to Halloween, but then I always have multiple Halloween orders come in on Halloween. I think it's just the day everybody's thinking about Halloween, even though those people who don't celebrate Halloween, Halloween comes and they start seeing all the kids out trick-or-treating and events going on, and it just gets them thinking about their childhood and the past, and then they start searching for stuff online. And so I always have multiple sales for Halloween items on Halloween, and then they kind of trickle the next 2 weeks after that too. So, but this item is actually a vintage Avon item, and it is a pair of doorknob decorations that are spiders. So these are going to be like from the late 80s Avon, and they're going to be in A19. I had these listed last Halloween and nobody bought them. So, and it's kind of funny that they sold after Halloween the next year. All right, so this is a bin of some Halloween stuff, and there they are right there. I need to come out here and I need to work on combining some of my totes so I have room to list some more stuff. All right, so there is the bag of doorknob covers. And that was something that was really popular back in the late 80s and early 90s, is doorknob covers. You don't see those being sold in store anymore. But those sold for $14.44 plus shipping. The buyer paid $8.80 for shipping. We won't have to pay that much. So we will make a little bit of money on the shipping. We'll probably just throw that in a poly bag. And the next item we sold, this is a pretty cool item. We got this at a private pick. And I kind of went back and forth on listing it on eBay just because of the size of it and how heavy it is, but it is a really cool item. Turn this around here. I'll show it to you guys. So it is a crock pot, but it's kind of like a fall, decorative piece. It's got owls on it, and it's practically brand new. Still has the manual on it and stuff. Just doesn't have the box it came in. And I took an offer on this. So I took an offer for $35 plus shipping. And the reason why I took such a low offer, I've seen them selling for around $45. the shipping's crazy, guys. So $35 plus shipping. The buyer paid $19.55 for shipping, which is just crazy. I think it's going to Nevada, I think. So yes, it's going to Reno. So it won't be as crazy if it was going to the East Coast. So we may be able to keep a few dollars of the shipping. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what kind of discount eBay gives us for shipping. So yeah, not a bad flip. We have hardly anything into that. So I tend to, when my dollar amount into items is low, and especially an item like that that's big and heavy, I'll take an offer immediately. So let's go ahead and get to our next item. All right, the next item we got to pull is a Motu Beastman, and it's the Super 7 figure from the early 2020s. I want to say it's like 2021 or 2020, but it is an A41, which we've been pulling a lot of figures out of A41 lately, and it's up top up here, and it is a still pretty heavy of a tote, but it is getting lighter every time we take it down. All right, so Beastman, he's right there on the side. Yep, there he is, Beastman. So this one sold for $12 plus shipping. The buyer paid $9.75 for shipping, and it's not in terrible shape. It's in really good condition, actually. The card is really nice. The bubble is really nice. So it's in great shape. So these are actually from 2018, so a little bit older than what I thought. So that was a great flip. And the next item that we're going to be looking at is actually a lot of sports cards. So somebody, like late Friday night, I think, all of a sudden my phone started going off like crazy, and someone bought 21 sports cards. So I'm not going to cover every single one of them, but we'll kind of look at some of these here. So this is a Shohei Ohtani. This is a fairly new card, the Heritage Tops. I think this sold for like $4. And then this Johnny Bench sold for $12. So that's kind of a couple of the really good ones. Most of these guys, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, a lot of these just sold for $1 or $2. So not crazy. This is a remake Mickey Mantle. So, but still a really cool card. Some more vintage baseball. There's a Bo Jackson that's also like a reprint that makes it look old. Nice Barry Bonds, Johnny Bench, Pete Rose. I think this one sold for like $6. Brett Favre rookie card, Jerry Rice, and a couple more Brett Favre. So this lot of 21 cards, guys, that lot sold for $49.99 plus shipping. Now the buyer paid $21.63 for shipping. We're going to be refunding almost all of that, just because these 21 cards are only going to cost us like $5 or $6 to ship, and then the remainder I will reimburse the buyer. So, but not bad for 21 cards, and $50. We'll probably end up keeping $40 of that, which I'm totally cool with, because these cards probably cost me 1 or 2 cents a piece, because I buy them in large lots, so I'm paying pennies for cards. So great flip on cards. All right, the next item we got to pull is a Star Wars figure, and it is from Power of the Force, so early 90s, and it is a Tusken Raider right there. I hate how when I do stuff up close like that, guys, it's blurry. It's just the way that the GoPro doesn't automatically focus on items up close. It kind of sucks, but it's what it is. So this is in A9. So we sold some of these last week as well. So, and when I was listing these, I was thinking these are not going to sell, but actually they've been selling pretty well. I've been selling a few of them a week. So I've got more and I'm definitely going to list them. So, all right, let's look here. Oh, there it is right there, right on top. There he is. And he's in pretty good condition as well. So not a bad looking figure. It's got a little bit of spider veining right there in the card, but overall, he is in really good shape. So yeah, and this is from 1996. So, and he sold for $8.49 plus shipping. Buyer paid a flat rate of $5.99 for shipping. The next item we're going to pull is a Life magazine. I've been selling a lot of these. I'm really surprised when I got them. I got the box of them for free. And I thought, well, I'll give them a shot and see if they sell. They've been selling really well. I think I've been selling like at least one a week, sometimes 2 or 3. So not bad. So this is the September 3rd, 1965 issue, and it has an astronaut on the front of it. So let's go ahead and get into our tote and pull that. There's the lovely Jane Fonda again. That's probably going to be down towards the bottom. Oh, I think that's it right there, actually. Yeah, that's just a cool cover. So, and this one, guys, this one sold for $8.07. Look at that Volkswagen ad. Just super cool ads in these. Oh, man, look at that. A Diet Cola ad. Super cool ads. Shoe ad. There's a Kodak ad from the 60s. Just super, super cool. A Nabisco ad. Just so cool. There's some of the stuff you find in these magazines. So that sold for $8 plus shipping. The buyer paid a flat rate of $7.99 for shipping for that. So not a bad flip considering that we got it for free. So the next item we got to pull is actually a Funko Pop. Took an offer on this. I was kind of hesitant at first because they hit me like, I don't know, $4 or $5 less than what I had it listed for. And they've been selling for around like $12 to $14. But with all of the current news about Funko Pops, or just Funko in general, how they even came out as a company and said they don't see themselves lasting another year. So I just decided, I'll just accept this person's offer, get this pop out of here because I have way too many of them. So, and it is this King Dice Cuphead. The box isn't in amazing condition. It has a few flaws, but we took an offer on that for $8 plus shipping, and the buyer is paying a flat rate of $6.99 ship for that. We got a lot of pops. We got all of these pops up here, and they're like 3 deep, and then we've got all the pops down here along the wall. So we've got quite a few of them to sell, and lately when an offer comes in, I just take it because they don't sell very fast. I may sell 1 pop a week. Now, a year ago, I was selling pops almost every single day, and it has slowed down so much. And honestly, I just want to see them go so they're out of my store. So the thing that I want to talk about, guys, is I've been thinking about actually doing a name change for my business, for my Facebook page, for YouTube, for everything. Basically, a rebrand. And I've been selling stuff under Halfshelltoys for a long time, probably 10 years or more. And that was because I started out selling only Ninja Turtle toys, which is quite obvious from my surroundings. But I'm kind of an everything seller now. So that name, Halfshelltoys and Collectibles, I added the Collectibles because I didn't feel like just the half shell toys made sense anymore. But I've been going back and forth between doing a rebrand or keeping my original logo and name. It's kind of like it's hard to move on from something that you like so much, even though if it doesn't work right, you know? So it's hard. It's a brand that I put together 10 plus years ago and would hate to see it go. I thought about um, maybe keeping my eBay store named Half Shell Toys and Collectibles, but then all of my social media be a different name, like my Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, be a more of a broader name and logo for what I'm actually doing on social media. So I've tossed up names like Tim's Finds and Flips, or I've even thought of the name the Time Traveling Picker because I really like vintage stuff. And so, what do you guys think out there? Those of you that are actually following me and watching my videos, should I stick with the name Half Shell Toys and Collectibles, or should I do a rebrand and go with a different name that is better for what I'm actually doing now? And that's buying anything and everything that has value and selling it. So, Tim's Finds and Flips or Time Traveling Picker, names like that. Not necessarily those two, but those are the two that have been like going through my mind a lot the last few months. But what do you guys think? For those of you that are watching, my friends and family, and those of you out there on the interwebs, what do you think I should do? Should I stick with my name or should I change it? All right, we got two more items to pull, and then this video will be done. So the next item we got to pull, guys, is actually a video game, and it is the new Super Mario Brothers for the DS. This is from 2006. This is actually missing its manual, but the game and the case is there, and I believe it's the second one right here. So we actually had two of these that came in the lot that we bought a little while ago, and the other one was complete. This one wasn't. So this one sold for a lot less. So it's got some inserts, but it is missing its manual. So, and the game looks like it's in great shape. The case is in great shape. And this game sold for $14.44 plus shipping. The buyer paid $8.35 for shipping for that. So not a bad flip there. And that's pure profit because, like I've said in my other videos, the lot that we got it in is paid off. All right, guys, so the last item we got to pull is actually a Christmas item. Now, this came from an estate sale, or no, wait, not quite a sale. This was more like just an estate free thing, I guess. The family was so overwhelmed with how much stuff was in this house and on this estate that they literally just started taking stuff out to the front yard, laying it all out, and then made a post on Facebook with the address and a picture saying everything in the yard is free. Come take whatever you want. I went and filled up my car like 2 or 3 times with stuff, and that's where this item came from, was from that free event. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, they had an actual estate sale with everything else that they kept in the house. So, and I went back to the estate sale like 2 or 3 times. I bought a bunch of stuff. I made a lot of money off the stuff from that estate, and I still have stuff yet to list that's in boxes and bins. Just because I got so much of it at once, I still haven't listed it all yet. So let's go ahead and pull this. It is a vintage Christmas topper, and it works. It's in its original box, and it's an A2 out here in the shop. A2, which is right here. Got some bearded thrifter stickers on there. If you don't follow him yet, go ahead and go over and follow him on Instagram and Facebook. He does a lot of whatnot stuff. So, all right, here's our item. It's this thing is really pretty too. It's in really good condition, and it's complete. It has its thing to mount on top of the Christmas tree. So this sold for $16.99 plus shipping. So, and the buyer paid $10.65 for shipping. So that's the last item, guys, for today. I appreciate all of you that stick around to the end and watch our videos. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one.